Today I wanted to talk about a book titled Born for This by Chris Galileo. It was a really interesting book that I read recently. There were some interesting ideas I'd love to share with you all, and hopefully you find them beneficial as well. So the first major concept of the book, which I found to be really interesting, was the author's notion of the winning career lottery. And what the winning career lottery really entails is the intersection of these three ideas: joy, and so a career that you like doing, brings you happiness; flow, you're really good at it; and money, you're able to sustain yourself doing it. And so what the author argues is that if you're able to find a career that touches on each component of these three, you found the winning career lottery. And so sort of think about it like a Venn diagram. You have three circles, and then the winning career lottery is right in the middle where that career touches on all three components. And so another way to sort of think about it is if you have a career that has some of the components but not all, and what does that really mean? And so example, if you have a career that brings you joy, you like doing it, and flow, you're good doing it, you're good at doing it, you're sort of like a starving artist. You produce great art, but you haven't found the customers to sort of reciprocate that value, right? Another way of looking at it is if you have a career that brings you joy, you like doing it, and money, you have unfulfilled potential because you still don't have that flow. You still haven't gotten really good at what you do. And then if you have a career that brings you flow, so you're really good at doing it, and it brings you money, you have success without purpose because you really haven't cultivated the purpose or the inner why of what it is that you're doing. And so that was an interesting model that I found. It really helped me sort of think about my career and where I'm lacking in certain areas, and how I can improve in that regard. The second benefit of the book was sort of around the idea of sunk costs. And in the investment world, we know what a sunk cost is. It's sort of you make an investment, it doesn't go as planned, it's gone down significantly in value. However, you still hold on to that investment in the hopes that you can at least break even and walk away from it. And that's sort of a sunk cost. It's a bad decision that you've made in the past, and it's continuing to affect you into your present and future. And so, of course, ideally, you want to cut off all, sunk costs. Easier said than done. But it was interesting to sort of think about how this applies in our career. And the author sort of talks about how decisions that you make in your past that aren't really serving you in your present and future. Another way we could sort of think about this is, let's say you're going to a cashier, you're waiting in line, you've been waiting in line for 20 minutes, it's a slow day, there's only one person on the till, and then all of a sudden the next cashier comes back from their lunch, till number 2 opens, and then you see a customer just run over, cash his things out, and he's gone. And so now you're in a little bit of a dilemma. You've been waiting for 20 minutes, you saw a customer just cash out and leave. What do? Do you continue waiting until it's your turn, or do you just pivot to the next till, cash out, and leave? And of course, the more rational and efficient thing to do is get your things, go to the next till, cash out, and leave. And so this is a good illustration of a sunk cost. You don't want to be stuck in a decision that you made in the past that's not benefiting your present and future. And when it comes to your career, I think we can sort of think about this, maybe career decisions that you've made in the past that aren't serving you now, a certification that you thought was useful but really isn't. And there are many other examples that the author mentions, but it was interesting to think about this sort of investment concept in my career and sort of all, of the sunk costs that I have that I need to, just cut them out. There were some other beneficial things that he talks about, more so in like the side hustle culture, turn your 5 to 9 to 9 to 5, how to create multiple streams of income. There's nothing new there. I think everyone post-COVID is going crazy about the whole side hustle culture. Not faulting anyone, it's a really interesting space, and a lot of people are doing very creative things, making money on the internet and with side projects and all that stuff. So it was sort of interesting to hear the author's take of how you can take your 5 to 9 and create a 9 to 5 doing it. And of course, he comes with his sort of business expertise and business modeling and all that stuff. So it was really refreshing in that regard. More so, most of the stuff is around like, you need a side hustle. And his concept was, well, if you have a side hustle, why don't you just try and, change it into your main job, using some of the principles that he mentioned. And so all in all, it was a good book, Born for This by Chris Galileo. Definitely do check it out next time you grab yourself a book, hopefully that soon. And until next time,